Hi friends. Today we're going to be learning more about sea turtles. The book we're going to read today is called Sea Turtles by Gail Gibbons. Gail Gibbons is an amazing nonfiction author. I think we read some of her books in the classroom, or if we didn't, we have some in our library. You might recognize the kind of illustrations that she makes. She has a lot of information in her illustrations and in the writing in her books. Before I start reading, though, I want you to think about the book that we read a couple of days ago, Kiki's Reef. This was a fiction story, right? But we learned some facts from reading this book. Stop and think for a minute. What do you remember from this book that you learned about sea turtles or about any other creature that lives in the ocean? If you remember something, you can say it out loud. You can tell someone or you can tell me. One thing I remember is that the sea turtle's shell protects it from some of its predators, right? It says, Kiki knows so very well, a shark's strong jaws can crack her shell. So a shark can eat a turtle, but a barracuda, which is that guy with those big sharp teeth, can't eat a sea turtle. So that's interesting to know about its shell. I also thought it was really interesting how these little yellow fish help the sea turtle keep its shell clean. What's something else you remember from this story? Well, today we're going to learn so much more about sea turtles. You are going to be experts in sea turtles by the time we finish reading this book. This book is pretty long, so I'm going to read half of it to you today and half of it to you tomorrow. Sea Turtles by Gail Gibbons. The first part that we're going to read about today talks about how old sea turtles are. And the second part talks about the different kinds of sea turtles. So while I'm reading, think about what new facts are you learning about sea turtles and how does Gail Gibbons use her illustrations and her words to teach us. Sea turtles live in warm ocean waters. They are in the family of air-breathing reptiles. Reptiles are cold-blooded and have scaly skin, like snakes or lizards. I have to switch sides for that one. The first sea turtles lived about 200 million years ago. Dinosaurs still roamed the earth. Not long ago, paleontologists found a fossil skeleton of one of these prehistoric turtles. If you're wondering what a paleontologist is, just wait for a second, I'm going to tell you. They named it Archelon. Archelon was so big that if it were still alive today, a car could park between its flippers. Oh my goodness. So look at this picture. Between the turtle's flippers, a car could park. That's really big. Archelon. Now let's read what it says here. A fossil is the hardened remains or traces of ancient plant or animal life left in rock. A paleontologist learns about ancient life by studying fossils. So if you're someone who's really interested in dinosaurs or animals that lived a long time ago, you might want to be a paleontologist when you grow up. Over millions of years, sea turtles evolved to become smaller and smaller. Today, they are among the oldest surviving creatures in the world. Did you know that? Sea turtles have been around longer than almost any other animals. Almost every sea turtle has a shell that is hard and bony for protection. The shell has two parts. The top is called the carapace. The bottom is called the plastron. They are connected by bony bridges. Large scales called scutes cover the carapace. Now I want you to look at how Gail Gibbons used labels to teach us about sea turtles. So you can see carapace, scutes, she's even showing us how to pronounce the words, bridge, plastron, and that's all the words on there. look at the labels on this page. We see front flippers and back flippers. A sea turtle has strong flippers it uses like paddles. The front flippers make the sea turtle a powerful swimmer. Some can even swim as fast as 20 miles an hour. That's 4 times faster than a human can swim. The back flippers are used for turning and stopping. I see more labels in this picture. Do you see them too? Hearing organs, eyes, nostrils. A sea turtle has sharp senses. Oh, remember we were talking about our 5 senses and what we can smell and taste and touch at the ocean? It has special hearing organs in the head just behind its eyes. So they don't call them ears, they call them hearing organs. A sea turtle's sense of smell is well developed too, and it can see far away underwater. Now look at this picture. What do you notice in this picture? Does it look like the sea turtle is crying? The one label we have there says tear. Now I'm going to stop for a minute because Benji had a question about fish living in the salty water. Remember, Benji? In the ocean, we know the ocean tastes salty, right? And Benji was wondering, doesn't that hurt the fish's eyes? Now, I don't know about fish, but let's see. We're going to learn something about that question with turtles. Sometimes a sea turtle looks like it's crying, but it isn't sad. The tears are how a sea turtle gets rid of some of the sea salt it absorbs from seawater. Most turtles are able to pull their hands, feet, and tails inside their shells for protection. Sea turtles can't. Their eyes and ears must always be on the alert. So when the sea turtle is crying, why is it crying? That's right, to get the salt out of its eyes. Pretty interesting. Now, starting in this part of the book, we're going to be learning about 8 different kinds of turtles. You don't have to remember all of their names, but try to see if there's one that seems particularly interesting to you and remember what it's called. I'm going to drink a little coffee before I keep reading. There are 8 kinds of sea turtles. 7 of them have hard shells. I thought all turtles had hard shells. The Kemp's Ridley and the Olive Ridley sea turtles are the smallest. They can be about 2 feet long and can weigh about 100 pounds. The Kemp's Ridley is gray. The Olive Ridley has more green in its color. Let's look at that picture. Kemp's Ridley sea turtle and Olive Ridley sea turtle. Now, the author said they're about 2 feet big. If you take your hands and go like this and like this, that's about 2 feet. So just about as big as I am inside that video is 2 feet. That's pretty big for a turtle, right? Next in size is the Hawksbill sea turtle. About 3 feet long, it usually weighs about 100 pounds. That's a little bit more than most of you weigh. It is called the hawksbill sea turtle because its upper jaw hooks down and over the lower jaw like a hawksbill. Can you see how it's doing that in the picture? Like this. Kind of like a rabbit. Hawksbill sea turtle. The Australian flatback sea turtle and the black sea turtle are a little over 3 feet long. The Australian flatback sea turtle is found in the waters around, where do you think? Australia. The black sea turtle is sometimes called the East Pacific green sea turtle. Let's look at those guys. On the top is the Australian flatback sea turtle, and this one is the black sea turtle, which is also called the East Pacific green sea turtle. The green sea turtle and the loggerhead sea turtle are about the same size. They are usually 3 to 5 feet long, which is between how tall you are and how tall I am, and weigh about 400 pounds. The green turtle gets its name because of the color of the fat found in its flesh. This is because the green turtle's diet is mainly made up of seagrass, so it mostly eats green stuff, and that makes it green. It is the only sea turtle that is a vegetarian. That means it only eats plants. So this one down here is the loggerhead sea turtle, and this one is the green sea turtle. We're going to read about 3 more, and then we're going to take a break for today. That's the loggerhead sea turtle. Wait, we just read about the loggerhead sea turtle. Oh, we're going to read a little more about it. The loggerhead sea turtle looks like a little... I'm going to start that again. The loggerhead sea turtle looks a little different than the green turtle. It has a thicker neck and a bigger head. Also, the loggerhead has 5 scutes, remember what scutes are, on each side of its shell instead of 4. And 2 nails on each of its front flippers instead of 1. Let's see that picture. There's the loggerhead, and there's the green turtle again. Here's the last one for today. This is the leatherback sea turtle. The leatherback is the biggest of all sea turtles. It can be about 7 feet long. That's taller than any of our parents, any tall people I know. It's like taller than the tallest basketball player, and can weigh over 1,000 pounds. It is the only sea turtle without a hard shell. 7 ridges go down its leathery back. The leatherback is the deepest diver of all the sea turtles. It can go as deep as 1,300 feet, and that's the leatherback sea turtle. And I'm going to stop there for today. Before I close the book, I want to tell you I was just reading something on the news about the leatherback sea turtle. And if your grown-ups will let you, you might be able to look this up on the internet too. I was reading that because so many people are staying home and they're not going to the beaches and they're not taking trips, that on some of the beaches where the leatherback sea turtle usually lives, the turtles have started coming out onto the beach. Usually they're too scared to come to the beach because there's so many people. So you might be able to find, if you can check it out on a computer with a grown-up, you might be able to find a picture of a real leatherback sea turtle on the beach, which they don't usually do. But right now, they're starting to come out where we can see them. So I'm going to stop there, and tomorrow, watch, I'm putting a bookmark in there so I don't lose our spot. Tomorrow we will finish our book about sea turtles. So today is Thursday, which means it's time for Mystery Science. And today I think this is going to be really interesting because a lot of you have been wondering about the ocean and why it's so salty. So your Mystery Science lesson for today is called Why is the Ocean Salty? And Doug is going to explain to us where all that salt comes from that makes the ocean taste salty. So there's 2 different ways you can do this. There's a link to the Mystery Science lesson down in the description, just like it always is. So you can click on that and you can go watch the lesson. But you can also go to Seesaw today, and I put the link in Seesaw. Cool, that makes it pretty easy because Doug is going to teach you how to do an experiment at home about salty water. To do the experiment, you're going to need a glass of water, some salt, and an egg. So ask a grown-up in your house if it's okay to use some water, a cup, and an egg. And if it is, then you can do the experiment at home. If you get to do it, take a picture of it and put it in Seesaw so we can all see. Okay, friends, I hope you have fun with your science lesson today, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.